They say Christmas is about joy, family, and abundance. But during America's darkest decade, it was something else entirely. Love measured in stretched ingredients. Picture this. December 1933, small town Nebraska. Your children wake Christmas morning expecting magic, but your bank account holds $3. Store windows display turkeys you can't afford, toys priced beyond reach, decorations that mock your empty pockets. You've got flour, lard, maybe some canned goods from relief programs. That's Christmas dinner for 8 people. December 1936, industrial Pittsburgh. Your husband's factory reduced hours to 2 days weekly 9 months ago. Your children wrote letters to Santa, asking for 1 orange each, nothing more, because they understand poverty better than childhood should teach. Christmas means creating celebration from almost nothing, making memories when money can't buy traditions, proving love doesn't require abundance. American families faced impossible holidays, no money for gifts, no funds for feast, no resources for the Christmas their parents remembered. But they celebrated through recipes passed neighbor to neighbor, through ingredients government commodities provided, through desperate creativity born from refusing to let depression steal their children's one day of magic. Church bulletins documented these recipes. WPA home economics programs recorded these survival meals. Mothers wrote these formulas in diary margins, preserving how they created Christmas when cash registers stayed closed. These weren't just recipes. They were proof that celebration survives poverty, that family matters more than finance, that Christmas happens in hearts before it happens on tables. Today, I'm sharing their genius. When Christmas dinner cost less than $1, when every recipe was tested by real scarcity, when food knowledge was the only gift parents could guarantee. Stay with me. These 25 Depression Christmas recipes fed America's families through the hardest holidays. No abundance, no waste, no giving up, just determination to give children one perfect day. Number 1. Poor man's meatloaf. Margaret Sullivan's family gathered for Christmas dinner, December 1932, Detroit, Michigan. Her husband's auto factory closed permanently in October, joining thousands of unemployed workers flooding relief offices. 1 pound of ground beef sat on her counter, not enough to feed 7 people, unless stretched impossibly thin with breadcrumbs, oatmeal, anything that added bulk without adding cost. She mixed ground beef with stale bread soaked in milk, added 1 precious egg, stretched the meat into feeding her entire family. Margaret combined the beef with torn bread pieces, the egg acting as binder, her hands working the mixture until everything incorporated evenly. She added chopped onions from her root cellar, salt and pepper, shaped the mixture into a loaf pan. Her oven heated slowly, conserving coal, baking the loaf for 90 minutes until the top browned and the smell filled their cold house. The meatloaf sliced into 7 portions, each person receiving meat at Christmas dinner. December 1932, unemployment crisis, when Detroit's auto industry collapsed completely. Families needed protein for Christmas, but couldn't afford traditional roasts. Meatloaf stretched expensive beef into feeding large families, turned luxury meat into accessible holiday meal. Breadcrumbs creating bulk without cost. Egg binding stretched ingredients together. Slow baking developing flavor despite minimal meat. Hot dinner providing Christmas normalcy during Depression chaos. Margaret's meatloaf technique spread through unemployment lines. Women sharing stretching secrets while waiting for relief checks. Detroit Christmas tradition, born from automotive industry collapse, proving celebration survives when economy doesn't. Every slice carried message. Meat stretches when mixed with love. Poverty can't stop Christmas dinner. Survival bakes hope into holiday meals. Would you stretch 1 pound of meat to feed 7 people? Drop a comment. I'm reading every one. Number 2. Creamed chipped beef on toast. Dried beef in white sauce, served on toast. That's Christmas breakfast, December 1934, Rural Iowa farmhouse. Walter Morrison's family woke expecting holiday celebration, but fresh meat was memory, eggs were luxury, bacon was fantasy they couldn't afford on failed farm income. Farm wives made white sauce from flour, milk, and butter, stirred in dried beef torn into pieces, served it over toasted bread slices. The sauce bubbled and thickened, coating the salty beef, creating filling breakfast from shelf-stable ingredients. They called it SOS Soldiers had different words, but families said, "Save our stomachs" instead. The beef was preserved, required no refrigeration, lasted months in the pantry. December 1934 farm crisis, when crop failures destroyed rural income. Families needed Christmas breakfast, but couldn't afford fresh meat. Dried beef provided protein without refrigeration, white sauce added calories, toast made it substantial enough for holiday celebration. Flour sauce creating creamy texture, dried beef providing salty protein, toast adding bulk and comfort. Hot meal proving Christmas morning despite poverty. Morrison's SOS breakfast fed his family Christmas morning for 3 consecutive Depression years. Recipe spreading through Farm Bureau meetings. Iowa Christmas tradition born from agricultural collapse, proving holidays happen even when harvests don't. Preservation feeds celebration. Salt beef stretches Christmas morning. Survival creams poverty into holiday breakfast. Number 3. Hot dog and cabbage skillet. Before Depression. Christmas roast with root vegetables. After economic collapse, hot dogs and cabbage fried together. Poverty rewrote every holiday menu. December 1935, when Christmas budgets shrank to pennies. Helen Kowalski's Chicago family faced holiday with 50 cents for Christmas dinner. Fresh turkey cost $2 impossible. Chicken required $1 still too much. 1 pound of hot dogs cost 15 cents. 1 cabbage head cost 5 cents. 30 cents total for Christmas dinner feeding 6 people. She sliced hot dogs into coins, shredded cabbage thin, fried everything together in 1 cast iron skillet. Not Christmas roast. Poor man's feast. Necessity made it celebration. Helen heated bacon grease in her skillet, dropped hot dog slices in first, let them brown and release their fat. She added shredded cabbage, stirred everything together, let cabbage wilt, and soften in hot dog grease. Salt, pepper, maybe caraway seeds if she had them. The cabbage turned golden brown, hot dogs crisped at edges, the smell filling their tenement apartment. She served it hot, calling it Christmas dinner without apology. During Depression unemployment peak, families chose between rent and Christmas dinner. Hot dogs remained affordable, cabbage cost almost nothing, combination created filling meal. Christmas celebration, requiring only 1 skillet and 30 cents total cost. Christmas roast was expensive, traditional, status symbol. Hot dog skillet was cheap, improvised, survival food. But hot dogs fed everyone. Cabbage added vegetables. Combination proved Christmas happens despite poverty. Celebration tastes like whatever costs 30 cents. Helen's hot dog skillet spread through Chicago tenements. Immigrant communities adapting Christmas to American Depression. Polish families adding Old World seasonings to New World poverty food. Chicago Christmas tradition born from economic collapse. Every bite carried message. Celebration adapts to poverty. Christmas dinner costs whatever you can afford. Survival fries holiday spirit in bacon grease. Would you have served hot dogs for Christmas dinner? Or refused to abandon traditional roast? Drop a comment. I want to know how far you'd go. Number 4. Salmon croquettes. Canned salmon, breadcrumbs, 1 egg, fried until golden. That's Christmas dinner, December 1933, coastal Maine fishing town. Thomas Bradford's family lived where fish should be abundant, but commercial fishing collapsed. Fresh catch went to cities. Local families survived on government commodity canned salmon. Housewives mixed canned salmon with breadcrumbs and egg, formed patties, fried them in hot oil until crispy outside and tender inside. The croquettes emerged golden brown, hot and filling, smelling like fried fish and possibility. Each tin of salmon created 8 croquettes, feeding family of 6 with leftovers. Government commodities turned into Christmas dinner through minimal additions and hot grease. December 1933 fishing industry crisis, when depression destroyed fish markets. Coastal families ironically couldn't afford local catch, survived on government canned salmon from Alaska. Christmas required protein. Croquettes transformed commodity food into celebratory meal. Canned salmon providing preserved protein. Breadcrumbs stretching fish further. Egg binding mixture into friable patties. Hot oil creating crispy texture that felt special despite poverty ingredients. Bradford's salmon croquettes became Maine coastal Christmas tradition. Fishing families making holiday from government commodities. Depression irony fishing town families eating canned fish from Alaska because local economy collapsed, yet still creating Christmas celebration. Preservation enables celebration. Government commodities become holiday dinner. Survival fries Christmas from tin cans. Number 5. One-pot goulash. Macaroni, ground beef, canned tomatoes. Everything cooked in one pot. That's Christmas dinner requiring $1 total, feeding 8 people through 3 Depression years. Dorothy Chun's San Francisco family made goulash every Christmas. December 1934 through 1936. 1 pound ground beef 40 cents. 1 pound macaroni 10 cents. 2 cans tomatoes 30 cents. Onion and garlic 10 cents. Total 90 cents for Christmas dinner feeding 8 people, leaving dime for emergency. She browned the beef first, rendering out fat, added chopped onions and garlic, let everything cook together. She stirred in macaroni dry, added canned tomatoes with their juice, added water, covered the pot. Everything simmered together, macaroni absorbing tomato beef flavor, creating thick, filling stew. Depression peak years, when families survived on under $1 daily food budget. Christmas dinner couldn't exceed that budget, yet needed to feel special. Goulash provided meat, starch, vegetables in one pot. Hot meal that felt substantial enough for holiday, despite minimal cost. One pot meaning minimal fuel consumption. Ground beef stretched through entire meal. Macaroni adding bulk and calories. Tomatoes creating sauce that made poverty taste Italian. Chun's goulash spread through San Francisco immigrant neighborhoods. Italian families recognizing poverty version of old country recipes. Christmas tradition proving holidays transcend economics. Celebration happens in pots before it happens on tables. Every spoonful carried message. One pot feeds Christmas. 90 cents creates celebration. Survival simmers holiday dinner from commodity ingredients. If you're still watching, you're tougher than most. Hit like if these survival stories hit different. Number 6. Butterbean and ham hock soup. Ham bone from Christmas dinner becomes January survival. That's Depression wisdom, nothing wasted. Every scrap transformed. One holiday meal feeding family for weeks through genius preservation. Marie Dubois received 1 ham hock in New Orleans relief box. December 1935. Not enough meat for Christmas dinner feeding 8 people. She served ham Christmas Day, carved every edible piece, saved the bone with scraps of meat clinging stubbornly. December 26th. She started soup that would feed her family through New Year's ham bone, simmered with dried butter beans, creating broth that cost almost nothing yet sustained everyone. She filled her largest pot with water, dropped in ham bone, added dried butter beans soaked overnight. Everything simmered for hours. Ham flavor infusing beans, scraps of meat falling off bone into soup. She added onions, garlic, whatever vegetables she had. The soup thickened as beans softened and broke apart, creating creamy texture without cream. 1 ham hock created 10 meals through preservation genius. Post-Christmas Depression strategy, when holiday meal had to stretch beyond one day. Families saved every bone, every scrap, transforming Christmas into January survival. Soup represented depression intelligence. Waste nothing. Use everything. Make holiday last. Bone broth extracting every bit of flavor. Butter beans adding protein and bulk. Long simmering creating richness without expensive ingredients. Hot soup transforming Christmas ham into week-long sustenance. Dubas's ham bone soup technique spread through Catholic charity networks. Relief kitchens teaching preservation. New Orleans depression tradition. Make Christmas last through January hunger. Stretch celebration into survival. Prove love simmers in soup pots. Every bowl carried message. Christmas bones feed January hunger. Preservation extends celebration. Survival simmers hope from scraps. Number 7. Dandelion salad with hot bacon dressing. Free food grew in yards while families starved. That's depression irony edible plants called weeds, nutritious greens ignored. Survival growing unrecognized beneath feet, trampling toward relief offices. Robert Martinez's Texas family learned from Mexican neighbors. December 1936. Christmas dinner needed vegetables, but store vegetables cost money they didn't have. His wife gathered dandelion greens from their yard-free, abundant, bitter but edible after proper preparation. She washed leaves repeatedly, removing dirt and bugs, tore them into bowl. She fried bacon pieces until crispy, used hot bacon grease as salad dressing, wilting the greens, creating warm salad that cost nothing except bacon they already owned. December 1936 agricultural unemployment, when Texas families couldn't afford store-bought vegetables. Dandelion greens provided vitamin C, prevented scurvy, grew everywhere without cultivation. Hot bacon dressing made bitter greens palatable, created Christmas vegetable dish from yard foraging. Dandelions growing free and abundant. Bacon grease transforming bitter into edible. Wilting creating texture change that felt sophisticated. Free vegetables proving poverty doesn't mean malnutrition if you know it's edible. Martinez's dandelion salad spread through Texas Mexican-American communities. Old country knowledge saving new country families. Depression Christmas proving indigenous plant knowledge survives immigration. Foraged food celebrates when store food is unaffordable. Every leaf carried message. Free food grows everywhere. Weeds become Christmas vegetables. Survival wilts poverty into celebration. Number 8. Corn and tomato scallop. Canned corn, canned tomatoes, bread crumbs. Layered and baked. That's Christmas vegetable casserole costing 35 cents. Feeding 8 people. Using only government commodity ingredients families received free. Linda Peterson's Minneapolis family made scallop every Christmas. December 1933 to December 1938. Government commodities provided canned corn. Canned tomatoes, families provided breadcrumbs from stale bread. She layered corn in bottom of baking dish. Added layer of tomatoes. Topped with breadcrumbs mixed with tiny bits of butter. Salt, pepper, maybe pinch of sugar to balance tomato acidity. Everything baked until bubbling and golden brown on top, creating hot vegetable dish that felt special, despite being constructed entirely from free government food. Depression commodity distribution peak, when millions of families survived on government food programs. Christmas needed to feel celebratory, despite being made from free food. Scallop transformed recognizable commodities into special dish through baking and layering. Baking creating cohesive texture. Layering creating visual appeal. Breadcrumbs adding golden crust. Hot casserole proving Christmas vegetables can come from commodity distribution. Peterson's scallop became Midwest Depression Christmas tradition. WPA home economics programs teaching the recipe. Government commodities transformed into holiday celebration, proving Christmas adapts to whatever food programs provide. Every layer carried message. Free food celebrates Christmas. Commodities become casseroles. Survival bakes government cans into holiday dinner. Number 9. Potato soup. 5 ingredients: potatoes, milk, butter, salt, pepper, nothing else. That's Christmas dinner starter feeding 12 people for under 50 cents total cost. Clara Evans's West Virginia coal mining family served potato soup every Christmas Eve, December 1934 through December 1940. Company store credit barely covered flour and lard, but potatoes cost almost nothing. Milk they got from neighbor's cow. Butter they made themselves from cream skimmed off milk. She peeled potatoes, diced them small, oiled them in salted water until tender. She mashed some potatoes in the pot, leaving others chunky, added milk and butter, seasoned with salt and pepper. The soup was simple, filling, hot, and cost almost nothing. Depression coal mining poverty, when company stores controlled food access. Christmas Eve needed tradition, despite minimal money. Potato soup provided filling first course, stretched Christmas dinner budget, warmed families in cold mining townhouses. Potatoes providing cheap bulk. Milk adding richness without cream cost. Butter creating flavor from minimal fat. Hot soup warming before main course. Evans's potato soup spread through Appalachian coal camps. Mining families creating Christmas tradition from simplest ingredients. Depression-proving celebration doesn't require complexity. Warmth matters more than expense. Family gathers around simplest soup if served with love. Every spoonful carried message. Simplicity celebrates Christmas. 5 ingredients feed 12 people. Survival boils hope from potatoes. Number 10. Shoefly pie. Molasses, flour, brown sugar. No fruit needed. That's Amish Christmas pie surviving depression because it never required expensive ingredients, even in prosperous times. Margaret Schmidt's Pennsylvania Dutch family made shoefly pie every Christmas since before Depression. December 1932. Recipe required molasses, flour, brown sugar, butter, all shelf-stable, all relatively cheap, nothing exotic or perishable. She mixed molasses with boiling water and baking soda, watching it foam and bubble. She poured liquid into unbaked pie crust, topped with crumb mixture made from flour, brown sugar, and butter worked together. The pie baked until filling set and top browned, creating unique texture, wet bottom, crumbly top, intensely sweet molasses flavor. Depression dessert crisis, when fruit became luxury and eggs became scarce. Shoefly pie required neither, survived economic collapse through using only staples. Amish communities shared recipe with desperate neighbors. Old country wisdom feeding new country poverty. Molasses providing intense sweetness. Crumb topping adding textural interest. Wet bottom creating custard-like layer. Simple ingredients proving Christmas dessert doesn't require fruit or chocolate. Schmidt's shoefly pie spread beyond Pennsylvania Dutch communities, becoming Depression Christmas favorite across rural America. Amish Christmas tradition proving some recipes survive any economic crisis because they were designed for simplicity from the beginning. Every slice carried message. Molasses sweetens Christmas. Simple ingredients create complex flavors. Survival bakes hope from pantry staples. Number 11. Applesauce cake. No eggs, no milk, just applesauce and spices. That's Christmas cake when dairy and eggs exceed budget, when baking powder costs less than fresh ingredients. Betty Wilson's Los Angeles family made applesauce cake every Christmas, December 1935 through December 1939. 1 jar of home-canned applesauce replaced eggs and most of the fat, creating moist cake without expensive dairy. She mixed flour with baking soda and spices, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, whatever spice tin held. She stirred in applesauce, melted lard, raisins if she had them. The batter was thick, almost paste-like, but it baked into dark, moist, fragrant cake that stayed fresh for days. No frosting needed cake was flavorful enough plain. Depression baking crisis, when eggs cost more than flour. Applesauce provided moisture and binding without eggs, created tender crumb despite lacking butter or milk. Christmas cake proving celebration doesn't require traditional ingredients. Applesauce replacing multiple expensive ingredients. Spices creating Christmas fragrance. Dense texture meaning cake lasted days. No frosting needed, reducing cost further. Wilson's applesauce cake spread through West Coast communities. California families discovering Depression baking genius. Christmas tradition born from agricultural surplus apples were abundant and cheap, processed into sauce that saved expensive eggs and butter. Every slice carried message. Fruit replaces dairy. Applesauce bakes when eggs don't. Survival spices poverty into Christmas cake. If you're still watching, you're tougher than most. Hit like if these survival stories hit different. Number 12. Poor man's cake. Boiled raisin cake. No eggs, no milk, just raisins simmered in water. That's Christmas dessert, costing 30 cents, feeding 12 people, tasting rich despite containing 0 dairy or eggs. Francis O'Connor's Boston family, boiled raisins with water, sugar, lard, and spices. December 1933. The mixture bubbled on stovetop, raisins plumping, liquid reducing, spices releasing fragrance. After cooling slightly, she stirred in flour and baking soda. The batter was dark, thick, smelling like Christmas, despite lacking butter or eggs. She poured it into greased pan, baked it until toothpick came out clean. The cake was dense, moist, intensely flavored from concentrated raisin liquid. It tasted like fruitcake without the fruit, like celebration without the cost. Depression dessert desperation, when Christmas cake seemed impossible without eggs, butter, milk. Boiling raisins created their own liquid, sugar their own sweetness, spices their own richness. Irish immigrant communities recognized poverty version of traditional Christmas cake. Boiling concentrating raisin flavor. No eggs needed through chemical reaction. Lard replacing expensive butter. Dense texture meaning small slices satisfied. O'Connor's boiled raisin cake spread through Boston Irish neighborhoods. Christmas tradition adapting to American Depression. Old country celebration, surviving new country poverty. Proving recipes remember prosperity even when families can't afford it. Every slice carried message. Raisins boil into celebration. Eggs aren't required for Christmas. Survival bakes sweetness from 30 cents. Number 13. Oatmeal cookies with bacon drippings. Bacon grease instead of butter. That's Depression Christmas cookies, when butter cost more than family Christmas budget, when saved bacon fat became baking ingredient. Helen Kowalski's Chicago family saved every drop of bacon grease in tin can beside stove. December 1934. Butter was luxury. Bacon fat was free byproduct of cooking meat. She creamed bacon grease with brown sugar, added 1 precious egg, stirred in oatmeal and flour. The dough smelled slightly savory, not sweet like butter cookies, but it baked into golden rounds that tasted acceptable once sugared enough. Her children ate them without complaint. Christmas cookies, regardless of fat source. Depression fat shortage, when butter became unaffordable luxury. Bacon grease accumulated from cooking, usually discarded or used only for frying. Christmas cookies requiring fat, bacon drippings providing it free. Immigrant families remembering old country's use of every animal part. Bacon fat creating tender texture. Brown sugar masking savory flavor. Oatmeal adding bulk and nutrition. Cookies proving Christmas baking survives without butter. Kowalski's bacon grease cookies spread through Polish Chicago neighborhoods. Christmas tradition born from fat shortage. Old country resourcefulness applied to new country depression, proving waste nothing philosophy survives immigration. Every cookie carried message. Fat is fat, regardless of source. Bacon grease bakes when butter doesn't. Survival sweetens whatever's available. Number 14. Chocolate icebox cake. No baking required. Chocolate graham crackers layered with whipped cream. That's Depression Christmas dessert for families, with ice boxes, but no reliable ovens, requiring no fuel, no baking skill. Dorothy Chun's San Francisco family made icebox cake every Christmas. December 1936. Chocolate graham crackers cost 15 cents per box. Whipping cream cost 20 cents when available. She whipped cream with tiny bit of sugar, layered it with graham crackers in loaf pan, refrigerated overnight. The crackers softened from cream moisture, creating cake-like texture without baking. Next day she sliced it, each piece showing distinct layers, chocolate and cream alternating beautifully. Simple, cold, impressive, despite minimal effort. Depression icebox dessert trend, when refrigeration was becoming common, but ovens consumed expensive fuel. No-bake desserts saved money, created impressive presentation without heat. Christmas dessert proving celebration doesn't require baking if you have refrigeration. Layering creating visual appeal. Cream softening crackers into cakesture. Cold dessert saving fuel costs. Simple technique creating sophisticated result. Chun's icebox cake spread through West Coast families with refrigeration access. Christmas tradition for modern Depression families. Refrigerator owners showing off new technology while saving money. Proving innovation helps even during economic collapse. Every layer carried message. Cold creates texture. Refrigeration enables celebration. Survival chills graham crackers into Christmas cake. Number 15. Pineapple icebox cake. Canned pineapple, ladyfingers, whipped cream. Layered and chilled. That's Christmas dessert using canned fruit instead of fresh. Ladyfingers instead of homemade cake. Assembly instead of baking. Thomas Bradley's Newark family made pineapple icebox cake every Christmas. December 1937. 1 can crushed pineapple, 18 cents. 1 package ladyfinger cookies, 12 cents. Small amount whipping cream, 15 cents. Total, 45 cents for Christmas dessert feeding 8 people. Impressive despite minimal cost. He layered ladyfingers in glass dish, spoon drained pineapple over them, topped with whipped cream, repeated layers, refrigerated overnight. The ladyfingers absorbed pineapple juice, softened into cake-like texture, creating tropical Christmas dessert in December, New Jersey. Depression canned fruit usage, when fresh fruit was expensive, but canned was affordable. Christmas dessert needing impressive presentation without excessive cost. Icebox cakes using refrigeration instead of oven, assembly instead of baking skill. Canned pineapple providing tropical flavor. Ladyfingers creating texture without baking. Layering creating visual drama. Cold assembly saving fuel and effort. Bradley's pineapple cake spread through urban families with icebox access. Christmas tradition for modern Depression households. Canned fruit proving preserved food celebrates just as well as fresh. Maybe better during winter when fresh fruit was impossible. Every layer carried message. Canned fruit celebrates Christmas. Assembly creates without baking. Survival chills poverty into tropical dessert. Number 16. Christmas ham with brown sugar glaze. 1 ham feeding 12 people through carved slices, saved bone, stretched meals. That's Depression Christmas main dish, requiring strategic planning, careful carving, waste-nothing philosophy. Margaret Sullivan's Detroit family received ham from church charity box. December 1934. 5-pound ham, not enough for 12 people if carved normally. She baked it slowly, glazed it with brown sugar and mustard, made it look abundant. Christmas dinner she carved thinnest possible slices, each person receiving 2 small slices. The bone with clinging meat became January soup. The fat she saved for cooking. 1 ham provided Christmas dinner, Boxing Day sandwiches, week of soup, month of cooking fat. Strategic celebration through intelligent distribution. Depression Christmas charities providing hams to struggling families. Recipients needed to stretch gift through multiple meals, make charity last beyond one day. Christmas ham, representing generosity, requiring genius to maximize. Slow baking, concentrating flavor. Sugar glaze, creating impressive presentation. Thin carving, maximizing portions. Bone saving for future meals. Sullivan's ham stretching technique spread through Detroit unemployment lines. Women sharing strategic carving secrets. Depression Christmas proving charity requires recipients' intelligence to maximize. Single gift feeding family for weeks through preservation genius. Every slice carried message. Charity stretches through genius. One ham feeds 3 weeks. Survival carves Christmas thin, but makes it last. Would you carve Christmas ham thin to make it last weeks? Drop a comment, tell me how far you'd stretch charity gifts. Number 17. Roasted chicken with pan gravy. 1 chicken, roasted whole, carved strategically, gravy stretching meat further. That's Depression Christmas dinner, when chicken costs less than turkey, feeding family through careful serving and sauce multiplication. Robert Martinez's Texas family roasted chicken every Christmas. December 1935. 4-pound chicken cost 60 cents, fed 8 people if carved carefully, and gravy stretched portions. He roasted chicken until skin crisped golden, collected every drop of pan drippings. Each person received small portion of meat, generous portion of gravy poured over bread, potatoes, anything that absorbed liquid. The gravy made tiny meat portions feel substantial, provided flavor that made bread taste special. Chicken carcass became Boxing Day soup. Depression poultry economics, when chicken cost half what turkey did. Christmas dinner requiring affordable centerpiece that still felt celebratory. Roasted chicken with gravy, proving celebration adapts to whatever bird fits budget. Roasting creating crispy, appealing presentation. Pan drippings becoming gravy that stretched meat. Strategic carving maximizing portions. Sauce making small servings feel abundant. Martinez's chicken technique spread through Texas Mexican communities. Christmas tradition adapting to American Depression economics. Families recognizing old country wisdom. Sauce stretches meat. Gravy multiplies celebration. Liquid makes solid food go further. Every bite carried message. Gravy stretches chicken. Sauce multiplies portions. Survival roasts whatever bird is affordable. Number 18. Creamed chipped beef. Christmas breakfast tradition born from necessity. Dried beef in white sauce over toast. Morning meal using shelf-stable meat, minimal dairy, filling everyone before Christmas activities begin. Linda Peterson's Minneapolis family served creamed chipped beef every Christmas morning. December 1933. Dried beef lasted indefinitely without refrigeration. Cost less than bacon. Stretched further than sausage. She made white sauce from flour, milk, butter, stirred in torn pieces of dried beef, served it over toast. The sauce was creamy and salty, filling and hot, warming everyone before church services. Christmas breakfast requiring minimal ingredients, but providing substantial fuel for holiday activities. Depression Christmas morning economics, when breakfast needed to fill family without consuming precious Christmas dinner budget. Dried beef providing protein without fresh meat cost. White sauce adding calories inexpensively. Preserved meat requiring no refrigeration. White sauce creating volume from minimal milk. Toast adding bulk and absorbing sauce. Hot breakfast preparing family for Christmas Day. Peterson's Christmas breakfast spread through Scandinavian Minnesota communities. Immigrant families adapting Depression to holiday traditions. Morning creamed beef becoming Christmas ritual, proving celebration starts at breakfast regardless of poverty. Every bite carried message. Christmas begins with whatever's affordable. Dried beef celebrates morning. Survival creams poverty into holiday breakfast. Number 19. Scalloped potatoes with minimal cheese. Potatoes layered with tiny amount of cheese. That's Depression Christmas side dish, when potatoes cost pennies, but cheese cost dollars. when layering created impression of abundance despite minimal expensive ingredients. Clara Evans's West Virginia family made scalloped potatoes every Christmas. December 1936. 10 pounds potatoes cost 20 cents. Half-pound cheese cost 40 cents. Total 60 cents for side dish feeding 12 people. She sliced potatoes thin, layered them in baking dish, grated tiny amount of cheese between some layers, poured milk over everything, baked until tender. The cheese flavor distributed throughout despite minimal quantity. Potatoes absorbed milk and became creamy. Dish looked abundant despite being mostly cheap potatoes. Depression cheese shortage, when dairy products became luxury items. Christmas side dishes needing impressive presentation without excessive cost. Scalloped potatoes proving layering distributes expensive ingredients throughout cheap base. Layering distributing cheese flavor. Milk creating creamy texture. Baking softening potatoes into cohesive dish. Minimal cheese providing maximum flavor impression. Evans's scalloped potatoes spread through Appalachian communities. Coal mining families creating Christmas abundance from cheap potatoes and cheese scraps. Depression proving presentation matters as much as ingredients. Layering creates impression of wealth despite poverty. Every layer carried message. Layering multiplies expensive ingredients. Potatoes become celebration. Survival bakes impression of abundance from minimal cheese. Number 20. Baked beans with hot dog skewers. Canned beans with hot dogs standing upright, candles. That's Depression Christmas side dish trying desperately to look festive. Creating visual interest from cheap ingredients, proving presentation battles poverty. Betty Wilson's Los Angeles family served beans with hot dog candles every Christmas. December 1937. 2 cans baked beans cost 20 cents. 4 hot dogs cost 20 cents. Total 40 cents for side dish that looked playful despite poverty ingredients. She poured beans into baking dish, cut hot dogs in half, stuck them upright in beans like birthday candles, baked until hot dogs browned and beans bubbled. Her children laughed at hot dog candles, ate beans without complaint, remembered Christmas fun despite Depression scarcity. Depression Christmas creativity, when celebration required imagination more than money. Families made cheap food look festive through creative presentation, gave children visual memories worth keeping. Hot dog candles proving poverty doesn't prevent playfulness. Vertical presentation creating visual interest. Hot dogs providing protein in beans. Baking making canned beans feel prepared. Playful appearance giving children Christmas memory. Wilson's hot dog candles spread through California Depression families. Christmas tradition proving creativity matters when money doesn't exist. West Coast families creating celebration from 40-cent dish, showing children that joy comes from love, not wealth. Every bite carried message. Creativity celebrates despite poverty. Hot dogs stand upright for Christmas. Survival bakes playfulness into beans. If you're still watching, you're tougher than most. Hit like if these survival stories hit different. Number 21. Mock mincemeat pie. Green tomatoes masquerading as expensive mincemeat filling. That's Depression Christmas dessert fooling taste buds completely. Transforming garden vegetables into holiday pies, proving creativity defeats scarcity. Martha Henderson's Iowa farm made mock mincemeat every Christmas. December 1931. She harvested last green tomatoes before frost in late October. Chopped them fine with apples from backyard trees, simmered mixture with vinegar, brown sugar, and precious raisins saved for months. The filling bubbled for hours, smelling like real mincemeat pies wealthy families enjoyed, costing practically nothing except time and determination. Her husband couldn't tell difference. Children ate eagerly. Neighbors requested recipe immediately. Depression Christmas ingenuity, when expensive ingredients got replaced with whatever gardens provided free. Green tomatoes mimicking mincemeat texture perfectly. Molasses replacing white sugar. Spices used sparingly, making every pinch count. Henderson's recipes spread through Iowa farming communities, faster than prairie wildfire. Church socials buzzing with mock mincemeat praise. Women traded variations, some adding more apples, others increasing spices, all celebrating triumph over expensive traditional ingredients. Mock mincemeat became badge of honor, proving depression couldn't destroy Christmas pie traditions completely. Texture fooled everyone first bite. Green tomatoes providing tangy bite. Apples adding natural sweetness. Long cooking time melding flavors beautifully. Every slice carried message. Gardens save Christmas. Creativity replaces cost. Tomatoes transform into holiday magic. If you're wondering how tomatoes tasted like mincemeat, the secret was patience and spices working miracles together. Number 22. Cornflake wreaths. Breakfast cereal shaped into Christmas wreaths with red candy berries. That's Depression holiday treat, looking expensive, costing pennies, proving festive appearance matters when money disappears completely. Dorothy Klein's Michigan kitchen made cornflake wreaths every Christmas. December 1934. She boiled corn syrup with tiny butter amount and green food coloring until mixture reached right consistency. Poured hot syrup over cornflakes, coating every piece. Worked fast, shaping handfuls into wreath circles before hardening started. Red cinnamon candies pressed into warm wreaths became holly berries. Whole creation cost under 30 cents. Looked like expensive bakery confection. Her children watched wide-eyed, helped shape sticky mixture, creating memories outlasting depression decades later. Depression Christmas magic, when ordinary cereal became festive decoration and dessert simultaneously. Green color suggesting holiday evergreen. Red candies adding Christmas spirit. Dual purpose maximizing value completely. Klein's wreaths spread through women's magazines and church bulletins, becoming Depression Christmas symbol nationwide. Mothers exchanged plates of wreaths as gifts, wrapping carefully in saved wax paper tied with reused ribbon. Gestures carrying more meaning than expensive store presents ever could. Corn syrup binding cereal perfectly. Green coloring creating festive appearance. Red candies providing visual punch. Wreaths serving decoration, then dessert. Every wreath carried message. Creativity celebrates poverty. Cereal transforms into Christmas. Joy requires imagination, not money. If you're still watching, these survival recipes hit different than modern cooking shows promise. Number 23. Sweet potato casserole. Mashed sweet potatoes topped with cornflake crumbs and brown sugar. That's Depression Christmas side dish, stretching single vegetable into family servings. Proving abundance comes from preparation, not expense. Sarah Thompson's Alabama family served sweet potato casserole every Christmas. December 1935. She mashed 5 large sweet potatoes grown in backyard garden. Added splash of milk when available. Tiny bit of molasses for sweetness. Spread mixture in borrowed baking dish. Crushed corn flakes mixed with brown sugar created topping when pecans remained impossible luxury. Casserole baked until golden and bubbling, smelling like prosperity itself. Her family gathered around modest table, grateful for whatever they had, treating humble casserole like finest restaurant dish. Depression Christmas resourcefulness, when root vegetables became celebration centerpieces through creative preparation and presentation. Sweet potatoes costing almost nothing when homegrown. Natural orange color suggesting richness and abundance. Corn flakes replacing expensive nuts perfectly. Thompson's recipe traveled through southern communities, along with Dust Bowl refugees fleeing northward, seeking survival. Sweet potato casseroles appeared at church potlucks, neighbor exchanges, family gatherings, proving depression couldn't destroy holiday food traditions completely. Sweet potatoes providing filling nutrition. Molasses adding deep sweetness. Cornflake topping creating texture. Baking making everything seem special. Every serving carried message. Gardens feed Christmas. Simple ingredients celebrate beautifully. Poverty doesn't prevent holiday tables. If these Depression recipes are teaching you survival creativity, hit that like button right now. Number 24. Peanut butter bread. Quick bread made with peanut butter. No yeast, no kneading required. That's Depression Christmas staple feeding families for days. Proving protein comes cheap when government subsidizes peanuts nationwide. Helen Morrison's Ohio household baked peanut butter bread every Christmas. December 1932. She mixed flour, baking powder, salt, sugar, milk, and generous peanut butter spoonfuls into thick batter requiring only sturdy spoon. Poured mixture into greased pan, baked until golden crust formed, and kitchen smelled like nutty prosperity. One loaf cost under 20 cents, fed family for 3 days, served as breakfast, snack, and dessert when nothing else existed. Her children loved sweet, nutty flavor, ate slices plain without complaint, requested bread throughout year constantly. Depression Christmas practicality, when quick breads replaced expensive yeasted versions, saving money and precious time. Peanut butter providing affordable protein when meat remained impossible luxury. Dense texture keeping families full longer. Simple preparation allowing children to help mixing. Morrison's peanut butter bread appeared in relief organization cookbooks and women's magazines. Promoted by nutritionists as economical protein source. Churches distributed recipe cards, encouraging families to bake regularly, creating Depression-era food movements spreading nationwide. Peanut butter adding richness and protein. Baking powder eliminating yeast expense, hence crumb holding together perfectly. Nutty sweetness satisfying everyone completely. Every slice carried message. Government programs help survival. Peanut butter feeds cheaply. Simple bread sustains families. If you're realizing our grandparents were tougher than us, you're absolutely right about that. Number 25. Leftover bread pudding. Stale bread transformed into creamy Christmas dessert with eggs and milk. That's Depression kitchen philosophy perfected, proving nothing gets wasted when survival demands creativity from every scrap. Ruth Anderson's Minnesota family made bread pudding every Christmas. December 1936. She saved every stale bread piece throughout week in cloth bag, tore chunks into baking dish when enough accumulated, poured hot milk mixed with beaten eggs over bread, soaking everything completely. Tiny bit of sugar, precious cinnamon, handful of raisins, if affordable transformed rock-hard leftovers into custard-like dessert, feeding entire family. Golden crust formed during baking, creamy interior remained soft, whole creation smelled like comfort itself. Her children ate warm pudding gratefully, understanding this dessert represented family surviving another week together. Depression Christmas wisdom, when endings became new beginnings through kitchen alchemy and maternal determination. Stale bread finding redemption in pudding bowl. Milk and eggs stretching into multiple servings. Raisins providing sweetness bursts throughout. Anderson's bread pudding appeared at every Minnesota Depression Christmas, regardless of family's economic situation, because everyone had stale bread accumulating. Recipe represented democracy in dessert form, available to poorest and slightly less poor equally without judgment. Bread absorbing custard completely. Eggs providing richness and protein. Raisins adding concentrated sweetness. Baking creating textural contrast beautifully. Every spoonful carried message. Waste nothing ever. Stale becomes special. Leftovers transform into Christmas. If you've made it this far, you understand Depression survival better than most modern Americans ever will. These recipes aren't just food history. They're survival blueprints written by Americans who refused to surrender. Our grandparents created Christmas magic from nothing, proving celebration lives in determination, not bank accounts. Try one recipe this Christmas and taste their unbreakable spirit. Hit subscribe if these Depression stories changed how you see survival.